What's going on, guys? It's Picsoleated, and today we are looking at one of the most limited, if not the most limited Adidas Yeezy of all time. Actually, it's probably not. I'm sure the V1 350s were more limited. Shout out to misleading you from the outset of the video. But either way, we're looking at the Yeezy 350 V2 Static Reflective. Yes, sir, this is the reflective version of the Yeezy 350 Static, the holy grail, a familiar but new direction for the ever so popular Yeezy 350 V2. We're going to get into this review, but feel free to follow me on Instagram at Picsoleated for fire sneaker content, keep up with the pic spam, and for future giveaways. Getting back into the shoe, the Yeezy Static Reflective is Kanye's latest offering with the Adidas brand. The sneaker released on December 26th exclusively on YeezySupply.com, and I was able to get a pair of this release. It is part of the Yeezy Static pack that all of them released around the same time, which includes the Yeezy 700 V2 Static, the Yeezy 350 V2 Static non-reflective, which is essentially a non-3M version of this pair, and the Yeezy 350 V2 Static Reflective, which is the pair I'm wearing currently in this video. Out of the three, this was the most limited pair. The Yeezy 700 V2 Static was the second most limited, but was still somewhat attainable due to the high price point and low aftermarket profitability. And of course, the Yeezy 350 V2 Static non-reflective was so easy to get, you could have slept through release and bought them off the reseller that woke up early to get them for retail. The backstory behind this pair is truly enamoring, and by story I don't mean the theme or inspiration for the sneaker, I just mean how it was treated. The rumors about the shoe were that the shoe was only limited to 5,000 pairs worldwide, but when it came to actual release date, according to the amount of pairs on the site, that number seemed to be closer to 10,000 pairs. Now, while that's a full double stock of what rumors were telling us, it is still a drastically low amount of stock compared to how many pairs are normally made of Yeezys these days, or just any limited run sneaker. For comparison, the non-reflective Yeezys total stock was closer to 100k and up, and even some Nike Jordan 1s that are limited and are hard to get end up being 100k stock, so 10k is still hella limited. What's more interesting is this shoe was selling for about $1,000 well before release. A few days prior to release, that number slowly started dwindling down to around $750, and once release hit and people started getting their pairs in hand, the price went all the way down to around $400. Now, this might be a symptom of everyone getting their pairs and trying to sell them all at the same time, aggressively pushing down the lowest ask for the pair, and it's very likely the price will still go up after the fact, but it's still a sad sight, or a happy sight depending on which side of the coin you're on. And to see the sneaker's aftermarket price tumble so fast, we'll get into why that happened later. First, let's get into the materials. The upper of this shoe is potentially made of a mixture of materials. The upper is all white prime knit threaded with a mix of this light gray 3M prime knit running through it, creating these diagonal lines going in all sorts of directions. It's the same old but durable prime knit we've all come to love from Adidas and the Yeezy brand. Breathable and comfortable, there's really nothing to hate about it. We have a white pull tab on the back of the shoe, all white insoles with Adidas Yeezy branding. The shoe comes with white and gray speckled roll places that are also 3M. In fact, it's the only reflective characteristic that this reflective Yeezy 350 shares with the non-reflective 350. We have an all-white ribbed midsole and outsole with a ton of boost packed inside the whole thing, which means none of that piss yellow outsole situation that we have with the Yeezy 350 Zebras. The most fascinating part and the main selling point of the shoe is this transparent see-through stripe right here. On any other 350, the stripe would be a solid color and have the text SPLY 350 stitched into it. However, in this case, it is see-through and it even feels like a completely different material. What's cool about this material is that not only is it see-through, it's still flexible. When you push it, it stretches a bit, as if it might just be see-through prime knit, but it's not. Or maybe it is, I don't really know. Reportedly, the reason these were so limited was because it was so costly to make this unique upper, at least according to Adidas. According to me, I think it's a bunch of baloney, because then it wouldn't make sense to make so many non-reflective pairs which have the exact same see-through stripe. And there's no way they can claim that it's the 3M that makes it so expensive, since when was 3M unattainable and expensive? Come on, bro, you ain't fooling nobody. What sucks about this see-through stripe is that it's not even completely see-through. I mean, it is, but pretty much 2/3 of it is covered by the inner materials of the shoe. The front portion around the toe box is blocked off by this wholly inner layer of material, making it look like you're wearing Swiss cheese on your toes, and the back heel portion of the stripe is just completely covered with a piece of suede fabric, negating any positive effects of a transparent stripe. Adidas, what the hell? I want to see my socks through my shoes. It's 2019. Listen to the kids, bro. Getting back to why the price tumbled so fast, there can only be two reasons as to why that happened, one being more likely than the other. Reason number one, people were wrongfully misled to believing that the stock of this static reflective pair was going to be only 5,000, and the fact that it is actually 10,000 led the price to drop so far down. Or number 2, most people bought these shoes to resell them. They saw the resale price before release and thought that was what they'll get for the shoe, which is sad because that means there wasn't much genuine demand for the shoe, but rather just an interest in making money off of it. Now I can't say those are the facts for sure, but that's just my take on what really went down with the release of this shoe. With all those queries covered, we still have the biggest question left to answer. Is this Yeezy 350 V2 Static Reflective the Yeezy that revived Yeezy? That's a lot of Yeezys. Before the release of this sneaker, almost everyone and their reselling mamas was sick of the Yeezy 350 V2. People who bought the initially coveted sneakers just to see them constantly re-released till their value diminished and they sat on shelves to seeing so many similar colorways released. Lovers of the sneaker and hypebeasts alike couldn't be bothered to care for another Yeezy release. Okay, that's being a bit too dramatic. People still love these shoes, but you know what I mean. For a period in time, it felt like Yeezys weren't special anymore. If you saw Yeezy release alongside another limited sneaker, you'd probably pay more attention to that other sneaker and potentially forget that a Yeezy even released. I can tell you I did that. I was completely ignorant to the Yeezy Frozen Yellow restock, which is actually one of my top 3 favorite 350 V2s, by the way, after the zebra and orange stripe beluga. But did the Static release change things? Truthfully, I think this pair did revive and review interest in the Yeezy sneakers. The combination of the limited stock with the 3M upper and all new transparent stripe was super unique, and with that hit of flashy 3M, I mean, if you're spending $200 to $300 on kicks, you'd probably want them to stand out too, right? But not only was it the 350 V2 Static that turned heads, I found myself being super interested in the Yeezy 700 V2 Static as well. And I'm not a big fan of all white shoes. I do like the Yeezy 700 silhouette better than the 350 V2 silhouette in general, so that might play a factor, but the entire Static collection definitely played a big role in renewing interest in the Yeezy brand of shoes. And honestly, I'm glad it did. It shows that people actually want new tech and new features in the shoes, and the shoes are actually good looking shoes. It's just sort of lack of colorway and innovation that's stifling it. Although the limited stock definitely played a role to a certain degree with this release, it just goes to show that people really like the shoes and we really just want to see good colorways as opposed to, you know, very similar ones. The shoes are as comfortable as ever, full boost midsole with the softest upper known to man. You definitely can't go wrong here, just don't expect them to be cold friendly. That's all I've got for these. What do you think? Do you think the Static Reflectives brought Yeezys back from the dead and potentially revived Kanye West's broken heart from seeing Yeezys sit on shelves? Or do you think nothing's changed? Let me know in the comments. If you took anything from this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Catch you later. Picsoleated is reflecting on his memories.